Hey guys, I am Jasmine Patel, and I welcome you to the 23rd episode of From Me to We with Jasmine Patel. And yes, we are already back with another amazing guest who I'm talking to for the very first time. And she is a very amazing lady. So let's welcome to the stage Love. How
Hey
you doing?
everyone, we're doing good. This is our little guest co-host Bear today.
Aw, hey Bear. So cute. That's awesome. It's great to have you. It's great to have you on my show. So, anyways, I'm going to be asking you some questions. So, first thing I'd like you to do is introduce yourself.
Yeah, definitely. My name is Micaela. Everyone likes to call me Love. That is because I've been working with the homeless and helping with humanitarian causes for now it's been 15 years, I'd say. Um, I have my bachelor's degree in 3 different subjects, but I like to mention sociology because it's so important in these days. And my master's degree is in social work.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So I am also the president of Lovely Hearts nonprofit, and I am co-founder of a school in Cambodia as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Glad to know about you. So, first question to kick things off is how did the nickname Love come about, and what does that mean to you now?
Yeah, so my nickname was given to me kind of ironically the same week by 2 different people. And this was about 15 years ago. The first person that gave me this nickname, they were in downtown San Diego. And I was showing up once to twice a week, and I was opening my trunk and giving out oranges, apples, water bottles, sweatshirts, underwear, whatever you can think of to the homeless. And so at one point, this man, he had said, "Hey, is it okay if I call you Love? Because I want to warn people for when you come next time." And so, ironically, that was like the first time, and it was just so heartfelt because it was just very authentic. I could tell that it really came from his heart. Thanks
Mm-hmm.
for listening. And
Aw.
the second person who had nicknamed that to me is with the Grifters MCs. That's like a motorcycle gang in San Diego. And I was actually the first person that was able to partner with the Grifters on having a fundraiser at their clubhouse. So obviously, I'm not like a biker in any sense. I've only been on a motorcycle maybe like 10 or 15 times, maybe a little bit more in Asia. But yeah, so it was really sweet because they said, well, since you're not like an old lady, that's like the nickname for like a girlfriend or a wife of a motorcycle member. They said, why don't we just call you Love so everybody can remember who you are? And I said, perfect. That works perfectly. So that is my nickname, and it just stuck since then. And I feel like it's even more important nowadays to me because I come from a place of love when I'm talking about really hard topics. And sometimes people like throw it in my face. How can you be full of love when you talk about like hate or something like that? But the truth is it's not. There's no hate. There's nothing like that. I want what's best for the collective, for the world. And I want world peace. I want children to be protected and to have basic needs and human rights. And so sometimes that can be misconstrued as like taking sides or something like that, but it's not. It's said from a place of love. So I think it's even more important nowadays that that's my nickname.
Wow. What a inspiring story. That's amazing. That is
Thank
amazing.
you.
Blown away, blown away.
Aw.
So next question for you is what inspired you to co-found Lovely Hearts Art Academy and what is its mission?
Yes, I was so inspired actually by the first time I went to Cambodia. The first time I ever went, I had gone to Thailand for a week and I had volunteered with the elephants in Sarin province. And then I had crossed the border into Cambodia. And when this happened, I was volunteering at a school, and it was so interesting because I think in the United States, schools are very taken for granted. And so when I went to Cambodia, I saw kids showing up 2 hours early to just be able to have a one-on-one conversation with one of their teachers. And this was like almost every day. And it was so inspiring to me. I remember when we were singing the ABCs and kids were literally screaming, A, B, C, with so much excitement. And it just lit my life up. I couldn't really go back to seeing education on such a formal type of way anymore. And, you know, it's so interesting. The third day of school when I was volunteering, it started to rain. Okay. And I was just thinking in the United States, like that might mean maybe we're going to have like a movie day or something like that. And instead, all of my students ran outside of the classroom. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, I just lost like 30 kids. I don't know their names. I was so scared. I was just looking at their sandals right by the front, like the classroom door, and thinking like, oh my gosh, where did they even go? And I walked around the corner and they were all dancing together in the rain. And it was so sweet and it was so touching. And then I found out later that a lot of these students didn't have access to clean water. So that was actually like a really special moment to them where they could actually go outside and rinse off, you know, and just feel like it was fresh water hitting them. And so I think that really just changed my life, seeing how students from around the world appreciate education so much. So that was my inspiration. I started helping at the one school, and I've been back every 6 months to a year after that trip. And I always help at schools. I'm very passionate about it, and I like to learn from school directors and social workers and community members. So yeah, it's just very special to me.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm very glad to hear that. Let's see. Ooh, got some comments coming in. I cannot pronounce his last name. Sorry. He says, "Wow, amazing. Thank you." Faiza Khalid says, "Awesome insight. Thank you, Faiza."
Beautiful.
Okay, so the next question is, let me pick one. Okay. What was it like being featured in SD Voyager Magazine? Did anything surprise you about the experience?
I was so thrilled when they reached out to me to be featured in the Voyager magazine. This is a magazine that is well known in San Diego County. And it's kind of like that magazine that everybody grabs onto to look at what's going on in the city, in the county, and just, you know, how we can stay connected to each other. So for me to get featured was just such an honor. I was very thrilled because we do have an upcoming tour to Cambodia, actually to help in a few different schools. And this will be in December. And so I was able to share about that and to help get people excited. And I think what surprised me about the experience is it's really interesting to see the feedback from people that we either know and we've known for such a long time, or people that we don't know that, you know, like you, that we've connected with just recently, that are strong community members and are just as inspired and thankful and, you know, just encouraging, I would say. So I think it's just all a part of the journey, and I'm here for it.
Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. Next question is, tell us about Women of Purpose, Creating a Better World. What was your chapter about, and how did it feel to win that Regal Summit Book Award?
Yes. So my chapter is called Success. And what I talk about is I talk about the idea of success. And it's really interesting because there's a lot of words that we use around the world that have different meaning to different people. And, I was actually just talking with my grandmother about this yesterday. And she was saying, we were talking about like what people consider being rich. And she said, oh, well, in my idea, it's somebody that can afford to live in California. And I was saying, well, but there's different areas of California. And like, just because you're living in a certain area of California doesn't particularly mean that you're rich. Maybe you're very unhappy. Maybe you're working all the time. So I think that the same is about success. Sometimes we think that success looks like, let's say, Jeff Bezos. And sometimes success is the more untraditional way, like with our friend Rayhan. And so I think that it's so inspiring to be able to see different stories about success. And I think the most important thing is just to know that people don't just reach success by trying one way. They don't reach success by, asking their rich neighbor, hey, can I borrow $2 million? And the rich neighbor says, oh, yeah, sure, no big deal. And now all of a sudden, this person has $20,000 million that they invested. That's really not what success looks like, especially in 2025. Success is resilience. Success is overcoming all that you are facing and not taking no for an answer. And I think that that's what we need to focus on when it comes to success. And that's what the book Women of Purpose is about. It's about creating a better world where everybody can reach success, not just somebody that, like I mentioned, might be Jeff Bezos or somebody that graduated from college. There's so many different routes to success these days, especially with AI, especially with technology. So we need to just jump on board and take hold of that.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, success is all about resilience. Believe me. Believe me, I can relate. I can relate to that 110%. So, my next question before we head on to the second segment of my show is, how do you balance your personal healing journey with the emotional demands of helping others?
It's really interesting that you're asking me this because this was like maybe 2 hours of my thoughts about us doing an interview wrapped into one statement. So I just want to really appreciate that you brought this up because this is really important. I think that this is something that I've struggled with because I think for me, I'm a go-getter. I can work. I used to be able to work 72 hours in a row with no break, just being able to help other people. And I think that the biggest thing that I've recognized this year, I'm like in my late 30s, is that we have to take a break. We have to allow ourselves to take a break. And I think in my case, taking a break doesn't mean that we are less productive.
Right.
Even as I mentioned to you today, I actually took a day off from work. As I had mentioned, we have little baby bear right here, and he needed a little bit of extra love and handling today. And so I think that he's part of my personal healing journey, to be honest. I think that sometimes we need to be around people and pets and support groups where they know what we need to balance our lives. I know like one friend that I have, when I used to work a lot of hours, I would say, hey, I only have 15 or 20 minutes, but I want to come say hi to you. And this particular friend, she would be the first to say, hey, I think you probably forgot to eat today. Or, hey, like, let me get you a drink before you leave to go to your next shift. And I think that we need those supportive figures in our lives that are able to remind us what are best for us. Because sometimes we have that like tunnel vision where we're like, okay, we're reaching success. We're trying so hard for success that we forget to take care of our basic needs. Especially like as I mentioned to you a little bit earlier, I've been diagnosed with c-PTSD. This is something that I've talked about openly for over 10 years. But I know that a lot of people don't really talk about it because they're like kind of tiptoeing around the topic. What does it mean? Is this person going to be sensitive if I bring it up? Will this person get offended if I bring it up? And I think that one thing when I was faced with things that were challenging is I think the first thing that flew out of my life is my basic needs. I can easily take care of anyone. It's the most easy thing to be able to do in my life, but it's harder for me to take time and think, hey, what do I need? Hey, I need to exercise today. Hey, I'm a little too emotional today. Maybe it's because I didn't sleep very well for the last few days. And I think that's really, really important is finding the balance. And to be honest, you cannot reach success without finding the balance. So yeah, I think it's really, really important. And it's something that we need to talk about all the time.
Yes, I totally agree with that. So anyways, we're going to head on to the second segment of my show.
I'm ready for it.
And here comes the surprise. Okay, so my show is pretty unique. I don't see other shows doing this, but I do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and Love is going to become the host of the show, and I'm going to become the guest, and she's going to have a chance to ask me any questions she might have. So go for it.
Okay, I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. Okay, so first, what was the moment when, because I want to mention that you were an author of 4 books, right? Yeah. So I want to know the moment that you decided that this went from an idea to something that you can do. What was that moment for you? And what was the first action step that you took?
Okay. So are you asking me like what made me want to write my books? Like what sparked it?
Not particularly what made you want to write them. More like, when was the moment that you believed in yourself, that you knew that this is something that you could do?
Okay, I got the question. This goes back to 2018, actually, when I was 18. I was taking I was taking an LNA class in my school, licensed nursing assistant, in case you didn't know what that was. And the teacher had us watch a movie called Pay It Forward. Now, if you haven't watched it, I'm not going to spoil it. You watch it, it's going to change your life. It's so inspirational. It changed my life. I mean, I watched that movie, and I'm like, I want to do something like this. I want to change the world. So I'm like, I'm going to write a book called Waves of Kindness. And
I love it.
I actually started handwriting it. Like, I was just going to town and everything. But I had to stop it because, I had to focus on school and everything else, so I didn't really have time. So, right? Fast forward to 2021, end of 2020, beginning of 2021, during the COVID pandemic. I started my Facebook stuff. I started connecting with people from Pakistan, and they started interviewing me and everything. And I was like, so I started making inspirational, motivational posts on Facebook for the sole purpose of, in the future, when I had enough posts, to take all the posts and compile them into a book and then publish it. And
that's awesome.
in, I would like to say, I think it was 2023. That's exactly what I did. And this is the finished product.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
How cool.
I formatted it, everything myself.
That is so amazing.
And actually, this wasn't the first book I published. The first book I published with my husband, in fact, was this one.
What is it called? I can't see it from here.
Oh, you are the love, the universe is the heart.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
I know, it has our love story. It has our love story in here because it's a rather unique love story, and we have all these chapters about love and everything. Very proud of
Aww,
this book. I made the book cover. Just saying.
I love that.
I know. And then, because we're on the topic of books, I might as well share the. So the third book is called the You're the Love Passport, which is pretty much the smaller, condensed version for people who don't want to read the full thing but want to get the general gist. I don't have it with me, but you can find it on Amazon.
Perfect.
And the fourth book, which is really special to me, my bestie's birthday was coming up a couple months ago, and she really made a huge impact in my life. She's fucking amazing. And I wanted to do something special for her. I didn't want to go out to the store and get her a car, whatever. I wanted to do something really special and meaningful. So I'm like, I'm going to write her a book. I'm going to write her a birthday book.
Aww.
Which was essentially a huge love letter to her and how much she meant to me. And here it is.
That is so sweet. I love that.
I know.
And Ben does too. He's a fan.
Yes. So that is my author journey.
And so just to summarize what you're saying, I and correct me if I'm wrong. I would say that you were inspired by inspiring stories and by love.
Yes.
And by community, really community, right? Too?
Yes.
Awesome. Yes. Very, very cool. Okay, my next question would be, what is your go-to snack when you are hungry late at night?
Oh, jeez. Gotta think about this. I normally don't snack at night. That's the thing.
Good. Okay, then you can do the daytime if you want to answer that question.
Okay. I don't know. I don't really snack in the daytime either.
Good.
Okay. If I was hungry and everything, I would grab a slice of cheese.
Oh, I love cheese. I love cheese.
Oh my god, cheese is so good, dude.
And what's your favorite type of cheese?
Cheddar cheese.
Okay, I love cheddar too.
How could you not love cheddar, dude?
Okay, my next question to you is, what is the biggest challenge that you see in the world today, and how can we come together to work towards a better world? And this can be as broad or as narrow as you want.
Oh man. You have to create, before I answer this question, you have to make your own show, and you need to interview people as well, because you ask freaking amazing deep questions. Like,
thank you.
For real. Anyways, well, I think the biggest problem that people have is that sometimes let's talk about the celebrities. Okay, let's talk about the celebrities in this world, for example. I'm not talking all celebrities are like this. Okay, I'm not lumping everyone in, but most of them, I've noticed, once they get to a certain place, once they have a lot of money and fame and lots of fans and everything, they tend to lose their humanity. They let their ego take over. They become cocky and, like, they know everything. And if people just kept on reminding themselves that they're human and that everyone is human, the world would be a way better place.
I totally agree.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Let me go to my next question. Out of you or your husband, who is the fastest problem solver? And I'm assuming both of you problem solve, but I'm just saying like faster, like if if there were like a big emergency or something, who would have the plan and who, like, what would your roles be?
No, great. This is another great question, man. I am good. I'm good at problem solving when I'm not pressured in a way. So I'm gonna give it to my husband because
Okay.
he's really good under pressure. Like he's had so much experience like interacting with people and all other stuff, and like if something happened, he would instantly know what to do.
Oh, that's awesome. I love
Yes.
that. I've noticed sometimes people are really horrible problem solvers. And I'm like, how do you get through being an adult and not knowing how to handle an emergency situation? And then there's other people that like for example, I was in Vietnam a few weeks ago and I saw a lady fall in the middle of the street. And like her husband was like, boom, blocked everyone off. The traffic was stopped. The cars stopped. He hollered for people to come over and help his wife up. It was just so incredible. So that's why I was wondering, like, we all have a role in the world. So what can we count on each other for?
Right. Right.
Okay, let me think of another question. Let's see. Okay, what is something that you are looking forward to before the end of the year and why?
Expanding my new platform. That's what I'm
I
looking
love
forward
it.
to. I'm surprised you haven't heard of Wait, I think you have heard about it. It's called Meta City. Have you heard
No,
of it?
I haven't. Tell me.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read the description, okay?
Okay.
That I have sent to other people instead of trying to remember everything myself. I usually don't do this, but when it comes to this, I kind of have to. Okay, so Meta City is a digital community built for connection, collaboration, and purpose. It's a place where people from all backgrounds can come together to support each other's goals, share ideas, resources, and good vibes, build meaningful connections that go beyond the scroll, celebrate growth, both personal and collective, and much, much more. Think of it as part social hub, part inspiration station, and part action squad. Whether you're a creative, a change maker, or someone just trying to find your voice, Meta City is your city.
I love it. I love it. That is super great. That's like giving a platform to anyone that wants a platform, really.
Exactly. I started this 2 days ago. I already have a WhatsApp group with more than 50 members. I have a Facebook group and a Facebook page.
Perfect. That is so special.
Yes. So I'm really looking forward to that, expanding the platform, launching new things. I'm still in the like brainstorming phase because there's like so much I can do, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. That is very cool. And so how do you balance working with people on a different time zone than you?
It's well, I will admit it was hard for me at first because
Same with me.
I kept having to look up the time and everything. But now it's easy. So for example,
Mm-hmm.
it's 6:07 p.m. for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just do 543. So it's 3:07 in the morning for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's easy. It's easy cuz I found that they're pretty active like when I wake up cuz it's their evening time. So they're like either coming home from school or from work or whatever. So it gives more time to connect and stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. So it sounds like you just have created a really good balance in a schedule where you allow that time to connect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Although I will admit, actually, it happened to me today. I got overwhelmed because I'm doing a lot of things on here. Like I'm doing my show here. I'm getting interviewed by the students of Rehunt School and stuff. I'm working on Meta City. I'm also taking a facilitator class at Rehan AI Teachers Institute. So I've been doing those tasks and stuff. So it's like sometimes all that stuff just kind of jumbles in my head and makes me all fritzed. And I got overwhelmed earlier today, but I'm good. I calm myself down. It's like, okay, one thing at a time, I'm good.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's good to kind of focus on that too, because we all go through those moments.
Yes.
You know, everyone. Excuse me, sir. I think somebody just dumped out his water ball.
Oh.
I heard like the bowl.
That's funny. Okay, I know another question you can ask me.
Okay.
Ask me how I got here to Canada.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was actually curious about that and I forgot to ask you. So how did you get to Canada?
Oh, it's a wild ride, dude. And if anyone would have told me that I'd be married, living in Toronto, doing all this stuff, like, if anyone would have told me that 5 years ago, I'd be like, are you kidding me? Number one, I don't like people. Number two, I don't trust people. Number three, I'm so shy. And number four, I don't like going anywhere. So don't you even tell me I'm going to be doing any social media influencing or getting married or anything. I ain't doing that. Right. So, journey starts. Imagine January 2021, right smack during the COVID pandemic. Right.
Ooh.
I connected with someone from Pakistan called Dr. Sanjay. He interviewed me on January 9th. That opened up the door for me. More people from Pakistan started to interview me and everything. And then the last week of January 30, how many days does January have? 30 or 35, 31? I forget. Okay, whatever. On the last day of January, I found my husband on Facebook.
What do you mean you found him? That's so broad.
Like, okay, so I was scrolling through my newsfeed on Facebook. I saw one of my Pakistan friends share a post of Praven's. That's his name, by the way. It's Praven. Okay. And I don't know, something caught my eye. And I'm like, I have to check this dude out. Right? So I did. And I was like, I have to connect. And then I said, that's my husband.
Aww.
And we weren't even married. We weren't even engaged. We didn't even know we even existed yet. And I'm like, all right, send him the friends request. Now, my husband is famous. He's a celebrity. So I didn't think he would accept my friends request, right? So 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Finally, on I think February 6th or February 9th, I think it was either one of those days. I got it. I got the notification. Jasmine Patel accepts my friend's request. And I'm like, yes. and then I messaged him and he messaged me right back. I'm like, wow, wasn't expecting that. So, long story short, we started talking more. He interviewed me on his show and everything. That was a blast. And I started connecting with more people and everything. And then In May 4th, 2021, Rehan Alawalis adds me on Facebook and does a live session with me that same day as well. And that was when I became famous. So many people started connecting with me. So then I started doing interviews, letting myself get interviewed, doing all the social media stuff, all that. And then, fast forward to 2022, June 9th and 10th. Praven flew to New Hampshire, where I grew up, where I was living back then.
Aww.
Flew to New Hampshire for my birthday. My birthday was on June 7th.
How sweet. Oh my gosh, my birthday's June 5th, Gemini Club.
Yo, that's crazy talk. That's awesome. Yeah, so so we meet and everything. And honestly, we were really freaking close. Like I was very much in love with him. I really freaking wanted to be with him. I knew that he was the one for me, and I could tell he was in love with me too. But sometimes people have conflicts, so like plus we have a 30-year age difference, so that played a role too. But I honestly felt like it was the first date. Like, aww. I don't know. And those 2 days really changed me because, like, for the first time, I actually did something without caring what my parents thought. And I was really proud of myself. Then, after that, he met up. He was in North or South Carolina. He met up with another one of our Facebook friends. And then we started planning the Niagara Falls trip in July, right?
Ooh.
Now, and then I'm like, I really wanted to go to Niagara Falls, but I didn't know how to tell my parents, because I had a feeling they'd say no, right? So, like, the feeling of me wanting to fly out of my nest grew stronger and stronger. And then, I finally told my parents, but I didn't tell them that I was meeting up with with Praven and my other Facebook friends. Because, plot twist, they had no idea it was doing my social media stuff. They knew nothing. So I was kind of trapped. And they said, no, you can't go. So,
no!
Yep. So on Father's Day, what I did, yes, I ran away from my parents' house for that whole week. My workplace was really good and supported me all that week, so it turned out fine. Then, I finally told my parents everything. They're like, all right, you can go, fine, whatever. And it was like, yay, happy, right? Okay, flash forward to July of 2022, right? So I think it was on like July 8th or 9th. My husband's service went out for the whole day, so I wasn't able to contact him or anything. And that was like, you know what? Time for me to say, I love you. Can you be my boyfriend? So then, once he finally got back in touch with me, we were just texting and everything, and he's like, you are the celebrity texter. And then I said, you are the celebrity boyfriend.
Oh, and he's like,
it. And he's like, you are the celebrity girlfriend. And I'm like, Praven, do you have any idea what that means? And she's like, yes, I do. And I'm like, yes. So then we became officially boyfriend and girlfriend on July 12th, which was his birthday. I picked that day on purpose so that way we could always remember it. So, fast forward a couple weeks before July 28th, I was video chatting with a couple of with the Facebook friends I was going to meet, right? And he joins, and he's like, my baby, I have a surprise for you. And then he was at the, I can't pronounce the name, but it was like it had engagement rings and stuff. It was like I forget the name.
I'm still listening. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So he surprised me with the 2 engagement rings, and I'm like,
aww.
shit. So then go to Niagara Falls. We get engaged. Made the Mist. On the Made the Mist.
How amazing!
Facebook Live. Okay.
Aww.
July 29th. We got engaged. Okay. All right. August of 2022. That was probably the worst month in my life. When I mean the worst, I mean the worst. My parents, they did not approve of me and Craven's relationship. They yelled at me every day. They pretty much tortured me. They made fun of my husband. I don't really want to go into too much detail about it, but it was pretty bad. I was very suicidal during that month. Right. So then, long story short, August 24th, I leave to come to Toronto, and I arrive in Toronto August 25th. Yada, yada, yada. And here we are. And I've been a permanent resident here in Canada since October of last year. And
I love Canada. People are so friendly in Canada.
I know. Canada's amazing. I would never go back. My home is here.
Oh, that's so special.
Yeah, so that's how I got here.
Awesome. Well, it was so nice connecting with you. I'm going to have to cut it short because I have to go take my little guy to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's fine. So, okay, guys, this marks the end of the 23rd episode of From Me to We with Jasmine Patel. Thank you, Love, for coming onto my show.
Thank you. It was so nice meeting you.
Spreading the love. Stay tuned, guys, for the 24th episode, and have a great day.
Bye. Thank you, Jasmine.